4:30, a good sign in the effort to keep kids safe from COVID. Pfizer has announced that a medical trial shows its coronavirus vaccine is safe for children ages 5 to 11. The company says it plans to submit to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for emergency use authorization very soon. And joining me to talk more about this is Dr. Juan Salazar, head of infectious diseases at Connecticut Children. Dr. Salazar, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Erin. It's good to be here.
So obviously parents have a lot of questions still about this. And first off, is the dose that 5 to 11-year-olds would get of the Pfizer vaccine the same amount that people over 12 received?
Yeah, great question, Erin. So it's actually a third of the dose. The traditional dose that has been currently approved is 30 micrograms. This actually goes to a third of that, is 10, which is it was done specifically to try to avert any potential side effects. So it's a third of the dose, 10 micrograms. It's still twice dosing. We give one times 0, and then 3 weeks later we give the second dose for the pediatric age 5 to 11, which is what's been proposed now for the FDA.
Okay. And how would a parent know if their child should wait to get the vaccine until it's fully authorized?
Well, what I would say, this is great news for the pediatric population. I think all of you have heard the news that there's been a 240% increase in pediatric cases over the last 3 to 4 weeks. About 250,000 children in the U.S. have been diagnosed with COVID, and almost 30,000 have been hospitalized. So that's a big problem for us throughout the country. So this is a way to prevent that. As soon as the FDA reviews the information that was submitted to them by Pfizer-BioNTech, they will convene the Advisory Committee of Immunization Practices, ACIP. The ACIP is an independent body of experts that will look at the data very critically, all of this very, very detailed. And then based on that information, they'll make a recommendation of whether or not to recommend this vaccine for children 5 to 11 years of age. I suspect they will recommend it, and then it goes to the FDA for authorization under the Emergency Use Authorization Act that they can have.
Okay, and last question for you, Dr. Salazar. Obviously, the bottom line is there are still many parents out there who are hesitant to give their kids the vaccine. Maybe they're on the fence. Despite that rise in pediatric patients you've been referring to, there also is the information about the very low death rate amongst children. Do you think that parents should be more worried about giving their kids the vaccine or their child actually contracting the virus?
Yeah, I think the virus can be dangerous, even in this age group. And unfortunately, we've seen kids die from COVID-19 at a younger age. And so it's not a benign virus, as some parents perhaps mistakenly believe. Many kids have been diagnosed with COVID-19. Some have ended up in the hospital. We don't know the long-term consequences of COVID-19. And we know these vaccines are safe. So if you have a choice, my recommendation to you is make the right choice. Get your child vaccinated. You can do it now for 12-year-olds all the way up to adulthood. You can go to any of the pharmacies to actually get this done. And once it's approved under vetting by the expert panel for 5 to 11-year-olds, go ahead and get your child vaccinated. Many parents have been waiting eagerly for this. This is really the way we get out of this pandemic, especially for the school age. And maybe with the proper vaccination, they can begin to relax some of the mask mandates to get kids back to normal. So my recommendation to you is, as soon as it's available for 5 to 11-year-olds, go ahead and get them vaccinated. And if they're 12 and above, go get vaccinated now.
Okay, a lot of good information, and we certainly appreciate your expertise. Dr. Salazar, always good to see you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Ari. Take care. Bye-bye.
You as well.